Hello, everyone, and welcome to TFYLP, episode number 311, number 311, and now 2018. I'm getting off to a good start here. This is TFYLP, episode 311, 2018 year in review. I am your host, Ron Land, a.k.a. Weird Wolf. Along with me this evening is Robert Simmons.
Hi, everybody.
Anna Pope.
Good afternoon, evening, whatever it is for you.
And Paul Fremel.
How's it going? Mr. Starscream reporting in.
Today we're going to be talking about our favorites and least favorites of 2018, both third party and official. We'll be looking at our top three of each, our top three picks. We'd be happy to hear what your favorites are from each throughout the year, and then we're also going to take a little introspective of ourselves as collectors from throughout the year 2018. How did we do? Did we make significant changes in our collecting habits? Did we do something that we haven't ever done before? You know, whatever. Just something along those lines. But we hope that you guys will enjoy this episode. A little programming note. Next week will be our biggest episode of 2018, our biggest episode of the year. It's the big broadcast of 2018. It is our holiday episode where the cast members of TFYLP, those who wish to participate, Rob, we did a gift exchange. We'll be opening our gifts. Everybody should have received them by the time that episode airs. And we will be opening our gifts on air with our live reactions, good or bad. Never know what we will have gotten each other. You know, it could be a bag of dicks or whatever. We don't know. But Rob crosses his fingers. You didn't get anything because you didn't want to participate. You anti-participant, you.
He already did get that bag.
Yeah, I already got my bag of dicks. I didn't need another.
But no, the gifts are supposed to be Transformers related, so hopefully maybe there'll be bags of dicks with Autobot insignias on them.
They were bags of Devastator testicles.
Yeah. That's
Perfect.
it. Yeah, we'll be doing that, and then after we open our gifts, if we have time, we'll share some of our favorite holiday memories from throughout our whole lives. You know, I know I've shared quite a few throughout the years, and now that we have new cast members, we have some new story to share on the episode, and then you never know who else may drop by. You know, I've got some big surprises in store. A couple of them have been confirmed, but I'm not going to let anybody in on that just yet. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it. Also, if you love what we do, check us out on Patreon at patreon.com. Let's see, we're playing. Wow, really? Hate messages during a podcast. Anyway, if you love what we do here on TFYLP, it helps us keep going. Helps us upgrade our equipment, like this new system that we're on, broadcasting in 1080p on Facebook Live and on YouTube. So if you're watching us, and I see quite a few people already are, Nebet Seda and Gabriel Daraban, I guess, is that how you pronounce it? Forgive me if I mispronounce names. Hello to everybody that's watching live currently. If you're watching us also on YouTube or Facebook Live, you will see that the comments are appearing on the sides of the screen. YouTube is on your left and Facebook is on the right. So if we have a chance throughout the episode, we may comment or reply to your replies throughout the show. As always, check out our sponsor, CapturePrey.com. Great toys, great prices, great service. CapturePrey.com, where you can save even more on orders of $150 or more. with free domestic shipping. And you also have the benefit of the Stasis Pod, where you can buy now and ship later and save. CapturePrey.com, great toys, great prices, great service. As well as RippedApparel.com. Use the promo code TFYLP Pod if there's not a better promo going on at the time, like there is right now. You can use the promo code, well, maybe promo code TFYLP Pod and save 10% on your order. Real quick, do you want to do an Ouch My Wallet? Did we have anything? Did we get anything this week? Maybe.
I did, but I'm gonna save it for the list.
Save it for the list. That's a good thing. What about you, Anna?
I have a big one.
Okay.
See, if you look at this place all around me right now, this building, this house I bought this week.
That's a big Ouch My Wallet.
That's a big Ouch My Wallet, right? So yeah, I bought.
That's Ouch My Wallet for 15 to 30 years.
Yeah, 30 years of ouching of the wallet. But what it means is that I now have this nice, very purple display room / office that I will be able to decorate as I see fit. So that is exciting. Expect pictures as I succeed and fail at decorating it the way I want to. And any suggestions anyone has for, cool ways to display smaller figures on bigger shelves, I will always be open for. And yeah, that's really exciting. And that's why I wasn't on last week, and I've been kind of scatterbrained the last couple weeks is because we're moving. Still working on it.
Lots and lots of plastic risers for displaying the little guys.
I need to find the ones I like and start getting some because, yeah, my shelves are inadequate, but getting better. Getting better.
Always, as collectors, it's always a ever-growing, ever-changing thing that we do in the ways that we display our collection. I mean, I started out on just whatever I could fit it on. I had my carded figures. I would put push pins and then just hang them on the wall. And then I moved from that to the bookshelves. Then I lived the bin life for like 4 years, and then and now I've graduated onto glass casing. Eventually, I want to replace this wooden one that's in behind me here. I got that second hand. That was actually third hand, I think. So, I pick them up where I can. But then I'd like to get one like another big one like I have over here in the corner. It's self-lit and the shelves are good and thick. Yeah, bin life rules. Peter's not here to join in your ballyhoo.
Or Nick. Well, I guess Nick's never been on the show.
No.
Okay, you can roast me. It's fine. I'm used to it.
Paul, what about you?
I actually did get something. I'll just go ahead and show it. It's probably going to make you go, what the hell? But it's the 3A.
Oh, what the
Optimus. Hell? It is really big, and it's basically a non-transforming super model, essentially, of very movie accurate.
Does it have articulation or anything, or is it a statue?
Big time.
Okay.
There's this photo in the instructions that I posted in a Facebook group called Bot Posting of he can basically do the Van Damme splits, and it shows it in the instructions. I was like, this is hilarious. So then I put it up there, and then people went all over the place with it and made ridiculous images out of it. But it's super articulated. It can do all sorts of stuff. I mean, you can put it in almost any pose you want. I just have it in essentially how it came out of the box because I'm a little scared to move it.
So you didn't have to put it together. It wasn't that kind of model. It was just a pre-assembled.
Yeah,
that's good. It looks super cool.
There's a few little pieces that you put on. I mean, I don't even like the movie stuff a lot. I just think that this design of Optimus is pretty cool. So basically had to put a down payment on this thing months and months and months ago. So it finally showed up, and it got caught up in the Chicago post office, the postal service, and I'm I had to go to 3 different post offices to find it before they sent it back to China. So, just happy I got it, and it's still kind of like taking it in.
Yeah. How many people? Quick question. That made me think. You said you got that toy out, and you haven't really posed it. It's still just as you got it out. How many in this day and age? How many collectors out there of toys that have super articulation or really good articulation as compared to Generation 1, whenever it basically you have like broadside that barely had any articulation at all? How many collectors out there just display their toys like with their arms straight down, their legs straight? They're not posed at all. No head turning. It's like they're just standing in rows.
Too many.
A lot.
I do a mix. I mix it up. Some stuff, I don't know, part of me kind of likes the uniform look of it in a way. Like, I understand it's, like, it doesn't look as cool as, like, a battle scene or something. But, there's something about just kind of, like, that nice, even row that checks a box with me sometimes. Mm-hmm. But then, like, you can see, like, my Masterpiece stuff behind me, usually they're not, like, in super dynamic poses or anything. But, they usually have their guns and up, and they might be looking around a little bit, some of that. But, I think space limitations really creep into all of us from doing anything really expressive. Unless you just have a very focused collection or just insane amounts of room.
Well, like I have the other version of Optimus from this, and he's at least pointing somewhere. Okay? So it's not just standing there. He's pointing off in the distance. So, don't worry. Don't worry. Anyways, it's a weird piece that most people won't even be on most people's radar because it doesn't transform, and it's this movie's been, the Last Night movie's been over for a long time now. So,
I mean, but even then, I think, like, if I come down to your basement next time and you got that guy like sitting on a shelf, people are going to gravitate towards it. Even though I cannot stand that interpretation of Optimus. That movie was crap.
Right.
But, I have no interest in that figure, but I can still be like, dude, that's badass. You know what I mean? Like, who doesn't like big, huge toys with tons of detail and articulation?
Right.
That's still cool. So.
Yeah. It looks like it stepped off the movie. So that's why I like this line of toys. I'm going to get the little Bumblebee. They're doing like a cheaper VW Bumblebee that's actually more reasonably sized too. So. These are all made to order though, so you got to if you don't pre-order them, you like have to go off the secondary market to get one,
which would be insane pricing. Aren't they like
sure.
extremely expensive to begin with?
I mean, they're usually more than $200. There's some that are, I mean, for
like
Transformers, these are
Hot
expensive.
Toys range, I guess.
Yeah.
Or the new Flame Toys stuff. I held that Flame Toys Tarn at TFCon, and
isn't that like $1,000 or something other?
No. Well,
it's like $400.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
But it is.
I heard
so
somebody.
affordable.
I could have swore I heard somebody say it was like $1,000. I'm like, no. Who would pay that much for that?
Well, somebody would.
I'm sure
we'll
there
see.
would, but I mean, really, what average person would do that?
Well, what average person is going to have the collections that any of us have? None.
That'll be like,
we're going to go that route. But yeah,
that'll be like MP60 that costs $1,000.
It's going to be
Too
Overlord. Yeah, the Flame Toys stuff. Seeing it in hand, like they were trying to get me to buy it, and they almost did. But it was super nice, super nice.
Maybe that's what I was thinking of. Amational said Ultimetal Prime was 1,000. That might have been what I was thinking about.
It was more like it was really expensive. It was like $800 some bucks.
Then you have that crazy Unicron lamp that half the LEDs didn't work in. That was like up there too. I mean, that thing it looked amazing, but it just didn't function from what I gathered.
I mean, Sideshow Collectibles has been in business for a long time. There's almost nothing you can get from them that's under $1,000. So there's people that want that stuff, and I guess I'm sure I don't want all that stuff, but I like this particular line of toys by 3A because they have a reputation, and when they got the Transformers license, that was kind of a big deal. So, if you know anything about them, they're cool. They're like indie toy sort of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, they seem really cool.
Mm-hmm. So, I guess let's get on with our main topic here, because I think we got a lot to discuss.
Yeah. A lot.
Yeah, a lot, maybe. And I didn't get mine out because I'm going to take the Jim Black route here and say mine were like on display, and I didn't feel like digging stuff out. And actually, a couple of my items are rather large, and I didn't want to say, here it is, you know. I'll just kind of reference it, because one of them you can see the barrel of the gun like right over my left shoulder. So that'll kind of give you a hint. So let's start with official first, since that's why we are here, Transformers as a franchise and brand. Let's start with the official, our favorites from the 2018. Now, if it came out like in December of 2017, we'll let it slide. If not, well, you just really slacked. So let's do with ladies first. Anna, what is your favorite top 3 third-party toys from 2018?
Wait,
you mean official?
I mean official, rather.
First party.
Yeah, first party. My bad. I was reading comments and I was thinking.
No worries. So I kind of cheated a little bit, because technically the first version of this mold and the one I'm going to be using did actually come out in 17, but I brought my not opened Cinder Store just because, well, I figured, that way I could say it's from 2018, since this one did come out in 2018, but this one did not, technically. But how long do you want us to talk for each of these, by the way? Just like a minute?
As long as you want. Just don't go an hour, I mean.
Okay, not per toy.
No.
Okay, well, anyway, I went with Slash because I wanted to go with something small that most people weren't going to pick, as something that was just really fun. And this is a toy that I actually kept on my desk. And most official toys, like, I play with once and put onto a shelf and I'm done with forever. This one I actually kept on my desk for probably a few weeks, if not a month, just kind of playing with it, and now getting it down again. For this show, I've actually been playing with it a lot again as well. And I just like it. It's a fun little toy. It turns into a not at all accurate Raptor type deal and goes really well
not at all
with
Raptor.
The original. Yeah, not at all. It goes really well with the G1 Dinobots, better than I would have thought a new character really could have ended up going with. And it's just, the paint's good, the figure's good, it's fun, and you can put people in it to ride it like a Yoshi, and people love that kind of thing, people being me. So I just thought, why not? So,
I think that's a solid pick.
I think it is too.
I didn't care for the transformation on it, but I thought it was a cute addition to Dinobots, and I always kind of like taking a classic team and finding a way to put somebody new in it, like when Planet X did Paddles. I thought that was awesome too, so I think Slash is cool in that way.
That Paddles seems really cool. I kind of want that too. But I won't get distracted yet, because I'll go on about third party all day, because that's kind of where my passion lies these days. All right, so should I do all mine at once, or are we going to take turns?
That's fine. Go ahead and go through it.
All right, cool. So next, I'm going to acknowledge that Siege came out, and I'm going to talk about the Sideswipe, because I may have mentioned this on a show a couple weeks ago, but I actually used to collect Sideswipes for some reason, one or another, just because there's a lot of them, I guess. But I realized partway through collecting them that I hated all of them. I actually didn't like any of them as toys. Like, I liked the fact he was a cool red robot guy, and I really liked how he looked in the cartoon, but I didn't like the toys. And even my MP one, I'm not really a huge fan of. So I've been really waiting for a Sideswipe that actually appealed to me, and this one really does appeal to me. It's like, it doesn't look terrible next to most of my third-party stuff. It actually holds up well for itself. The articulation's a lot more there than it was with the last few years of Deluxes, and the paint is a lot better than it has been recently. It's dynamic. He can wear accessories, and I just have fun with the figure as well. And And it says a lot of good things about Siege, too, since we're starting with a figure like this. And hopefully we continue going in a good direction. Now, to be honest, I was really tempted to go with the Voyager Optimus from that line. But one, I don't have him, so it wouldn't have been as fun. And two, I hate the fact that I have any Optimuses in my list just because I get so tired of Optimuses. But, you know, I do have an Optimus in my list.
Yeah, I just recently picked up the Siege Sideswipe because I watched you guys review the other day, and I was really pleasantly surprised by Sideswipe and Hound. Actually, I went ahead and made the plunge on Hound, and I'm like, you know, these guys are really, really good. I didn't think I would like the battle damage paint. I know I said several episodes ago that I thought it was a turn off for me, and I wish that they didn't have it. I like my bots clean. I'm kind of digging it, though. It looks really good on these toys. My opinion, of course. And they're really, really solid toys, especially that Sideswipe. I totally agree with your assessment on him. He's got great articulation. The transformation's rather fun, and he looks great in both modes. I mean, you can't really ask for much more.
Am I the only one totally expecting like some box set of a lot of these with like clean paint decos is like an Amazon exclusive or something?
Peter says it every episode, so no.
Okay.
Some form of this mystical box set is coming in Peter's mind, so that may happen. Who knows?
Yeah.
I think it'll probably happen in some way. If not a box set, it'll happen as a series of Amazon exclusives that cost an extra $5 each.
I kind of don't think it would happen because I just don't think that's drastic enough of a deco change. Like, I think they look fine as is. Like the battle damage, it's right there. You can pretty much unsee the battle damage in your mind if you want, because the toys are awesome.
It is not as bad as we thought it was going to be. We thought it was going to be terrible, but it's not really bad at all. And honestly, on figures like Sideswipe, I really do think it actually works. Mm-hmm. Like
it's like just on the legs. It's just on the legs, though, pretty much.
Yeah, it's a little limited on him. It's a little odd, but it works.
It's like, how did his shins get scuffed up?
Don't ask questions you don't want the answer to.
He was going through a metal swamp, obviously.
What did you think about his transformation? I thought it was really intuitive.
Okay, so being fair, I like it. I think it's good. I think it's intuitive. But I also just got the Magic Square Red Alert, which is, you know, basically the same as their Sideswipe. And my brain just goes and compares the two. And that transformation is brilliant. And this one is merely good. So and I know it's an upward comparison as well. We're talking about a $35 figure that's this big versus a $20 figure that is this big. Mm. However, yeah, it definitely distracts me from realizing how good this one is, but it's good.
Awesome. Now, what's your third official toy?
Okay, so this is annoyed because I tried to find it and I couldn't find it. So therefore, I'm going to be describing it with my hands. Or perhaps one of you has picked it as one of your favorites, and you'll just be like, oh, surprise, here it is. But I really like the exclusive Nemesis Prime repaint of the Power of the Primes Evolution Prime. It's super cool. Like, I hated that I really liked that mold when it came out as an Optimus Prime, because I pretty much don't buy Primes for the most part. And when it got re-released as the Nemesis Deco, I really, really like it. It comes with this super cool bird sword accessory and other accessories that are neat as well. The inner figure honestly looks like a slightly different person than most Optimuses. So yeah, I was really impressed with it. Like it's the one exclusive figure that I bought since we've gone to the Amazon exclusive things that I've really been like, now this is an exclusive figure, right? This is something that's cool. It's different enough that if you bought Optimuses, you could own both and you wouldn't be like, repaint bleh. You would actually enjoy having both of them because it's different and it's neat and it looks really good on display, but it was also decent to play with. Did not live on my desk as long as Slash did, but it made it at least a couple days, which is again good for a retail figure. So yeah, that is my number one. I don't know if anybody else shared those feelings about that figure, but I was really happy with it.
Was it? Do you think it was the all the extras that pushed you over the edge on that one, like the guns
Yes.
and all that stuff?
Bird Sword is what pushed me over the edge. I mean, it's kind of a precursor to all the weird animal weapons we're getting in Siege,
Yeah.
but it's just cool. Like, okay, the bird mode's kind of but I mean, the fact that I can make a little bird ride around on it in truck mode and then turn it into a sword when it's in robot mode is pretty cool to me. So yeah, the accessories pushed me over the edge, and just, I don't know, I really like the different sculpt on the heads, and it just looks cool to me. It was a good figure for Anna.
Did you get him at like the rock bottom price recently, like on Amazon, or did you get it right away?
I got it right away, but I also bought another one, rock bottom,
Nice.
because I am possibly going to give it to someone as a gift who may or may not be watching this podcast. So
Oh,
they may have had it ruined, but you know, if they did, anyone who's getting a gift from me now is now thinking, "Oh my God, is she giving that to me?" No, probably not. But someone's getting it.
I mean, I agree. I think those are all great picks, myself.
I think so as well. What about you,
Yeah,
Paul? What are your top 3 official picks?
Well, so I'm confused. Like the people that go first are the luckiest because they don't get their pick swooped in by someone else, right? So, like, luckily none of Anna's were mine. So I guess if any of your guys' are mine, sorry.
Well, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see.
But we can put our 2 cents in. So
Sure. So I guess first off, I'll go. I thought Studio Series Starscream was exceptional. I thought it was a very good. Both modes are awesome. The articulation is awesome. I have it up. I have it like hidden away, or I'd grab it. I just thought for the price, it delivered what I thought the Studio Series was telling us it was going to deliver on. Like it's like kind of a higher end version of these toys, like the best mold, the ubiquitous mold of these characters from the movies. So, of all the ones I played with this year, I thought that was the shining star of Studio Series. Not just because I like Starscream toys, it's that one was very good, and it wasn't just the deluxe from Dark of the Moon upscaled. It was close, but it was like somewhere in between the leader class they made and the deluxe, and I thought it was just a really good rendition. And if you haven't messed with it and you don't hate the movie toys 100%, you definitely should check that one out before you check any other ones out.
I agree. I'm not a big fan of the movies in general, and that extends to the movie toys. I don't have a whole lot of movie toys, and a lot of the movie toys that I did have, I sold. There are a few that I've kept. I love the movie masterpiece Bumblebee. I think that's phenomenal. I have the Studio Series Grimlock. I think that's probably one of the best painted official toys that we've ever gotten.
That's really cool.
I mean, just the way they applied the paint and made it look. Even though the build quality is kind of, I don't care for the rubbery bits. Just looking at it is absolutely stunning. I kept that one.
It's the only Studio Series toy I have.
Yeah, and then I have Leader Blackout because I just love his helicopter mode. It's awesome. Not a huge fan of his robot mode. It's a bit clunky, but it is what
Agreed.
it is. And then I also have the Starscream that you just mentioned. I was really impressed with how, I mean, out of all the movie Starscreams, I think it held or hid a lot of the underside kibble the best.
Yeah.
Out of all the ones that we've seen so far. I mean, I'm not saying it has no kibble on the bot kibble on the bottom, but I mean, it hid it the best.
Yeah, I mean, the Starscream movie design is troublesome for a lot of reasons, you know, and if you can look past how much everyone hates it because it sucks, I mean, that is just, it's amazing that they were able to make that toy, and that's why I chose it. Being a Starscream nut, you know, it stood out to me. So, yeah, I wish I had it to sit here and show you, but
I don't have any of mine handy, so you know.
I have one over here handy. The next one, it's a movie toy. It's going to sound like I'm a movie lover, like I'm kind of not, but
you're not a Sergio, are you?
No. By the way, fun fact: Sergio is graduating from college as we speak.
Yes,
because he was texting me pictures of his cap and everything. So way to go, Serge!
Congratulations! Now you don't have to flip burgers.
Now welcome to hell.
Yeah. Now it's like now you can flip burgers with a degree.
Pump that gas with a degree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. That reminds me of my very first job. My assistant manager of the grocery store that I worked at had a master's degree in geology, and he was a assistant manager of a grocery store. I'm like, way to use that education.
Not everyone is lucky enough to do that. I just had a major malfunction. That giant sword that is in that Optimus, like I ran into it and knocked it over because it's so long. It's fine. It landed on the couch.
Glad it didn't skewer you.
Yeah, just pretty funny. So my second pick would be this guy. This is the MPM7, the movie masterpiece Bumblebee, and I've been displaying him with the Charlie figure that comes with the Studio Series Bumblebee pack. This kind of can hold her like that or something. But I just think I like this design. You know, this is harkening back to the way I wish the movies were. It's getting really close, and there's been these. Yeah, I just like this one better.
Yeah, I agree, but I do like the overall design of this character.
I haven't seen the movie yet, but the doors aren't screen accurate, right? Like they just disappear in the movie.
The doors, he can like flip them, like they're on like a rotor here. Yeah, it's not 100% screen accurate by any means, but it's a nice looking toy. Like under here, it's like the Starscream, you know, breast guns. This doesn't ever happen in the movie. Cannons. Yeah, it's cool that that's there, but that's not part of the movie. So
deleted scene.
Yeah, maybe. I love that the feet have die cast on them. You know, just that's where you should put die cast if you're gonna use it. I have actually I've actually not transformed this thing though, so maybe I'm a bad fan at this point to even put this in my list. But I just like it so much. Just standing here.
It's like a week from now, you will transform that toy and go, "Oh man, this transformation is shit." Why did I list this as one of my favorite toys of 2018?
I haven't played with any of the Masterpiece movie stuff. I know Prime had trouble pegging in for some people, but I thought in general the transformations weren't that complex.
I find them to be very complex.
Okay.
The ones that I've like the Bumblebee one, the other movie Bumblebee, like I have a lot of problems with
twice.
That.
Yeah.
I can't get the feet to lock in or something, and it literally drives me bonkers.
But it looks amazing.
So what I think is funny is that you brought that up, and the only review I've read about that Masterpiece movie Bumblebee is how bad the transformation is and how frustrating it is. So we'll see if that harkens true for you or not, or if you keep loving it after you transform it.
I may just never transform it, you know, like... I've got a lot of
ignorance is bliss, man.
Yeah, I'd kind of like to keep it that way, especially with the Master Movie Piece Prime.
Truth be told, my Masterpiece Soundwave, that's like actually right there, you can see it in screen. I've had it for about a year and a half now, and now I had the Hasbro Masterpiece Soundwave, and I had to sell it a couple years ago For those who follow know why, but I had to sell mine. But then it was one of those where whenever I had the money to buy it back or buy another one, I got another one. I got the Hasbro or the Takara one, and I have never transformed that particular one in a year and a half that I've had it. It's been on the shelf, never been transformed.
That's a bad transformation.
Well, I've already transformed the mold before, and I have the Year of the Goat Soundwave, the all clear one. I've transformed it several times, so it's not like I've never transformed the toy. It's just I've never transformed that particular one. So, should I go on the last one? Sure.
I guess.
Yeah. I couldn't remember if you had done all three or not.
Last one I think is exceptional, and I finally just saw it yesterday because I had a customer come and buy one from me, and I finally got to play with it because he had it, and so it's the one Anna mentioned, the Siege Optimus. I mean, that thing is unreal, awesome. It's a masterpiece toy for $30. But I mean, I feel like the Sideswipe and the Optimus are using tricks they learned from years of doing masterpiece toys, and they were able to implement them cheaply and quickly in a way that just really makes the toys.
I'm amazed that they're starting to implement ankle rockers in deluxe size toys. It's like, really, Hasbro, you're stepping it up. It only took, 35 years?
Well, no, because I think like in 07, 08, like when the original line of classics had tons of articulation, and then they cut way back on it all, and things got hollower, and then prices started going up for a whole bunch of reasons, and now it sounds like with Siege they're bringing it back. They're upping that quality again, which I haven't picked up Sideswipe or Hound or Prime because I'm like, I got enough of those characters. Those characters have been done into the ground, but everybody's talking about how damn great the toys are that I'm either going to have to get them or hope a repaint comes out that is something that appeals to me to grab, and just so I can have that experience. I mean,
I really feel like they're, and maybe this is John Warden's influence or whatever, but they're really making sure that they're action figures first now. Like, they can pretty much do anything a Marvel Legend could do, but then they still transform into this other whole toy. It's kind of amazing, and it's been like this for a few years now. Like, Combiner Wars was like this. All the Titan Returns figures were like this, and they could do even more stuff because they didn't have to worry about where the head goes. So I think they've just been, they've been kind of slowly giving us what we want, or what I think people really want. So
I agree.
Yeah, I wish I had the Optimus with here to show you, but the only one I have is sealed. So, and I'm not going to open it. But I just think it's really awesome. I think it's the best toy of the year, and it's coming out right at the end of the year. In fact, it's actually not out in stores. You can only get it at specialty shops, as far as I know.
Which one's that? The
Optimus. The Voyagers are not at Target or anything.
Yeah, I saw whenever I picked up Sideswipe and Hound from Orson, he had a Megatron and an Optimus sitting there on the table, still in the package. I picked up the Megatron, and he kind of looks okay. I'm not real keen on him, but then I picked up the Optimus, and I'm like, it did look almost like a mini masterpiece prop.
It does.
In hand. I was just really, really amazed.
It's pretty cool. Those are my picks.
Speaking of pretty cool, what about those pretty cool chops right up above me here? Rob, what about your top 3 official picks of 2018?
Yeah, so official's tough for me because, like Anna, I'm big into the 3P world, but I did scrounge some up. I've honestly been pulling back on a lot of Hasbro stuff lately, but I'm going to start off with something simple. It came out earlier this year. I like Swoop. I think Swoop's fun. I think you got to kind of work to screw up Swoop.
He's not that complex.
No, at least for my taste, my sensibilities. I like that they gave him the blue chest from the show, but they also gave him a clear beak, so it's kind of like a little toy, a little tune. You get that mix.
I wish they had left the clear beak for the red chest version that's coming out.
Oh, not me. I have no use for the red chest version. But yeah,
Me either.
yeah, it's cool. He's simple. He's fun. Whereas most of the rest of the Dinobots, I wasn't super enamored with. I felt Swoop was done pretty solid. So, next one.
Real quick question before you move on from Swoop. Do yours feet, whenever you transform him to Dino mode, do they clip in very well?
No.
Mine do not clip in very well. Uh-oh. Skype go boo.
That's what it looks like. And we lost our leader.
Yeah, my Skype crashed for some reason. We continued to broadcast, but my Skype crashed. All right, we're back. Although the arrangement has gone around. Anyway.
Yeah, so again, not a big official guy. Masterpiece I'm really into, which is obviously third party, but this is official. Anime Prowl. Not an exciting release, but I was happy to get it. I think I've mentioned before, I like things that look like they walked off the screen. And while this mold doesn't...
So MP44 is down your alley.
Oh, totally. I'm all about it.
So, question about that, Rob. Where did you get yours? Or how did you get it? eBay or...
Not eBay. Honestly, I can't remember where I got it. I mean, it's the Takara release.
Was it this box?
Or no, it's Takara.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not the Hasbro sleeve release or whatever it is.
So did you get the coin and stuff?
I don't know. Probably. If it came with one, I don't know. I don't remember. I get the toy out and I shove the rest in Box Mountain.
Okay.
You know, like
Box Mountain.
Yeah.
Broke Box Mountain.
But yeah.
I just can't quit this thing.
Yeah, but yeah, as far as doing what you can do, like there's some things here that aren't super cartoon accurate, but you know, with what they had with the mold, you know, I think they did well. Everything's painted to the nines, top to bottom, all over, just like all the Masterpiece toys that come out these days. Whereas, you know, the original release of this, they weren't painting things fully at the time. But the anime editions, they've been painting them top to bottom. So, again, wasn't a bunch of big splash when he came out because I think we all kind of expected it, and it is exactly what you think it is. It's Prowl again, but with more paint. You know, so.
But the paint like puts it over the edge for you, right? Like it's totally makes it worth it. Uh-oh, did we lose Rob too?
I think so. Yeah, he froze up. Wow. It's
dropping like flies.
Yeah, it's at least it's not on the computer side. It's Skype. It's doing this crap. Oh,
was
welcome
I the
back.
only one that crashed?
Yep. It was me first, and then you. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, as you were saying, Paul. Yeah, the paint puts it over the top. I mean, there's a big difference between colored plastic and painted plastic, both in hand and on the shelf. Even if it's, you know, just solid white, which a lot of this obviously is. But you know, you got some tint on the blue tint, you know, and I think the Autobot logo is a little bigger, and then there's a lot of the rest of it's plainer.
I think the Autobot logo's a different style too. It's more the anime style, like was on Sunstreaker and is it? Yeah, it's the anime style. Yeah,
so yeah, he was up there again. Not a super exciting release to a lot of people, but I was happy for it. And then, if you're following along, my favorite thing that came out official this year is this big dude. Which, I mean, fucking of course, Masterpiece Dinobot. Yeah, he's awesome. His tail's up in the cabinet. I have transformed him a few times. It is involved.
I love how he says it. It is involved.
Yeah. But yeah, it's awesome. The things they did to get this toy as accurate as they did in both modes is, you know, super impressive. That's honestly, he's challenging the same way like Cheater was challenging, and kind of like you were talking about earlier, Paul, with movie Starscream. I suspect like the animations, especially for Beast Wars, so much of it cheats. Like stuff just disappears. That's why every Dinobot toy has always suffered until finally they got this. And I understand in Beast mode, he's a bit panely, but that's as good as it gets. I don't think you can do it any other way. When he has kind of the faux chest, but just like with Cheetor, they made it where the faux chest, or which is his old head, whether it's a fake head, the real head's right underneath it. So like the transformation is still feels normal. They cheated only because they can't make that head actually expand and look like that. That's impossible.
Well, like we were talking about the last episode I was on, we were talking about that screen accuracy, and I kind of had this epiphany on the air, like, oh my god, the transformation is never screen accurate, right? Because it's impossible, because it's that they can just make up what the transformation is in the show, or the comic, or the art, whatever.
Yeah.
So like you kind of gotta take what you can get. It's amazing that it even happens, unless it's and it's not a parts former, right? I mean,
well, other than the tail.
Okay.
The tail comes off, and you can tag it on here, just kind of like the original toy, where you can hang off his back or whatever. You can do that here as well. But no, that's about it.
How do you like him in Velociraptor mode?
If you transform him wrong, he's Velociraptor mode. If you do it right, he's not so bad. But yeah, he's just he's a marvel of engineering. He's detailed to the nines, and again, he looks pretty much like he walked off the screen. He's got a bunch of fun gimmicks, lights up. I like that the electronics are doing it now, where you don't just turn it on and it stays on. You turn it on and it's on for like a few seconds, and then it turns off after a bit, like after 15, 20 seconds. Yeah, see there, it went off. So it's nice, so you can put it on, but you don't have to worry about turning it off, like if you just want to play with it for a minute. It's not going to drain your battery. But yeah.
So I kind of feel like that toy, I haven't been able to touch it myself, but like that and Beast Wars Megatron, they are kind of ushering in the new type of masterpiece toys that we can expect. And maybe it even started back with MP36. But like based on that one, like how do you? What are your premonitions on like MP44 now?
And what?
Do you think they're unrelated? Like, well, the quality of that toy, does it like kind of? Is it like a stepping stone towards what you're expecting with MP44?
Yeah, to me, I think it really started with. Now, this toy didn't go over well with people, but kind of started with Trax a little bit, as far as like really looking like the cartoon, and like Trax had a good finish on him. But then, who was out before MP36? Was it the Truck Brothers or the Inferno? I couldn't remember.
Yeah, I think it was Inferno and Grapple.
Yeah, like those really said the cartoon's here. This is what we're doing now, and then they started with the paint.
Shockwave. Was heavy.
Shockwave had the design, but it didn't have the quality or the paint. Because Shockwave is just purple plastic. He's kind of. If they painted him top to bottom, it'd be different. But I felt by the time they got to MP36, they were like, "Oh yeah, it needs to look like the cartoon. Figure it out, and we're gonna paint it top to bottom." And so then Sunstreaker's just the same. Looks awesome in both modes, painted top to bottom. So, with these guys, with the Beast Wars line, even starting with Primal, they didn't necessarily paint it all, but everything has a finish and a texture to it. Like, this is all scaled and detailed. It's not just lines on there. And I mean, he does have paint. He's got like the stripes, things on him, and it's all has a finish, if not paint, all the way throughout for every piece of exposed plastic. And I expect Beast Wars Megatron will be the same. MP44 is going to be paint top to bottom. They've done some cool cheating to get the mass shifting that toy that he does in the show. They actually taken the mass out of the chest and they fold it down into the legs. And I think that's what we're going to see going forward. I suspect Hound will be the same. He's going to be painted top to bottom. I think that's.
I can't wait for Hound. I can't wait for Hound.
So good, so good.
Real quick, Hang Up Chan. He asks on Facebook Live, Velociraptor. You kind of want to explain to him that reference?
I assume you're talking about when you get this guy into Dino mode. If you have Masterpiece Cheetor, there's a good bit of panels to form the animal mode. So when he is in Raptor mode, it's the same type of cheat. Well, I mean, it's not cheat, but it's the only way to do it because they're really designed as shell formers as far as the old toys, and then And in the cartoon, again, they just cheat so much. That's all you can do is that you have to break up all of that and just shove it into random spots. And so when he's in Raptor mode, there can be quite a bit of gaps, especially if you don't line it up right. And even then, there's still going to be some gaps, like I think like in the legs maybe. I can't really remember, but yeah, it'll leave little gaps around.
Which mode do you prefer?
Oh, well, I mean, I always prefer robot modes. But with Beast Wars, it's definitely harder. Just because they did run around a lot of time in their animal modes doing stuff. I thought that was one of the cool things the show did versus like More Than Meets the Eye and Lost Light comic books. I love those books. Some of the best Transformer fiction we've gotten in such a long time. But they never use their alt modes. They're walking around as robots all the time. Which some people that annoyed, I don't really care. It's good fiction. But this kind of feels like one of the Beast Wars was one of the last times where I felt the characters went around in their alt modes a lot more. I think it helped because they were animals, so they could still talk and stuff. If it's a car, there's not a mouth on a car.
Unless it says it with Techron.
What? I don't get that reference.
The Chevron Techron cars with the little smile. Never mind.
Okay. But yeah. So I think that's. I think with Beast Wars they have it's a shelf that sometimes I could see, like when I get them, they'll be in Beast or in robot mode, but at some point I might want to put them in Beast and leave them like that for a while. I do that with the old Beast lines too. Sometimes I'll put those in Beast and let them sit there because it was just as much a part of the show.
Yeah, the only G1 character I ever have that oh shit, which way should I do it is Grimlock, because he was like a dinosaur most of the time. And actually, if you have that first version of MP08, if he's not wearing the apron, you're doing it wrong. So that's Dino mode.
Well, it's like in season 3, did he ever even transform? I don't recall Grimlock ever transforming in season 3.
Maybe in the Technobot episode, maybe once, but they just kind of gave up on his robot mode.
Yeah,
he was more fun.
Well, all the Dinobots actually. I don't think any of the Dinobots transformed into robot mode after season 3.
I think you're right. So did we catch any of your picks, Duran? Or
I had not gotten yet. No, you didn't get any of my picks. Nobody did. Awesome. My first 2 picks are kind of cheats because they're combiners. But I chose the combiner as a whole because there's so much to love in each one of them, in my opinion. The second one, whenever I get to it, will be a little bit controversial because I've heard some hate on it. But the first one, I think a lot of people really liked it as well. And a lot of people were waiting on it. Power of the Prime's Abominus. I was so ready for that toy to come out. And whenever it came out, I was not disappointed. As a Terrorcons fan, I've loved the Terrorcons, yes. I've loved the Terrorcons since Generation 1. They were probably my favorite G1 combiner. With Center Twin, I love Center Twin's color scheme, yes, of course. Because, well, yellow. I mean, he's another yellow bot. And then Hunger looks amazing. I just absolutely love Abominus as a whole. He is an absolutely beautiful toy, great colors. They nailed each one of their individual robot forms. I mean, he's great combined, and then individually they look great, even in both modes, robot and beast form. The only one that I really have any beefs with at all is Cutthroat, and that's because they cut some corners, like on the beast head and everything. It pops off, but all in all, I really, really love that toy. Yes. He is.
I still haven't gotten the rest of mine. Orson has the rest of my limbs, and I just haven't been up there to get them yet.
Shame.
Looking forward to it though.
Shame. Yes, they are great though. I'm ecstatic that he finally came out. I'm really happy with how well Hunger pegs together to form the torso mode. The chest and everything is very solid on him. I couldn't be more pleased with him. And
I almost chose this guy on his own because he's got so much paint on him. Like, the paint apps are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And they even painted his teeth the shark teeth. Like, they didn't need to do that.
Yeah, but they did.
It's like, thanks, John Warden. Thanks, man.
Blot is absolutely freaking gorgeous. I was blown away by little Blot. You know, I mean, he's like one of those characters that nobody ever thinks of, but yet there he is, and they did so well with him. And his transformation is just, he essentially just like squats down and these beast arms come out, and that's and his robot head folds away. But
it might be worth mentioning, I do have the Perfect Effect kit on this guy right now. That's, you know, so he might look a little different than what you're used to. So
I was pleasantly surprised with the Hasbro feet and hands. I mean, they're not great. They're not the third party upgrade, but I didn't bother getting the upgrade kit for him. The only upgrade that I really did is Repro Man on Facebook. I ordered the oversized. He has a slightly upscaled G1 Hunger rifle that I bought, and I have that. It looks good as Abominus's rifle, and it also looks really good as Hunger's rifle. So, I thought that was a great pickup. And then I actually repurposed some of the mini-bot guns that I got from Non-F. And I gave some of them to the Limbots as their pistols. I think the only one I didn't was Center Twin, because I thought his back cannon looked good enough as a rifle. But yeah, I really love my Abominus. I do see BC here on YouTube says he loves Abominus. It's a great figure, but his has terrible limbs or terrible hips. I have heard that as an issue. Mine are in between. They're not terrible, but they're not great either. If I wanted him to do like a walking pose, it would be a little bit difficult, but I don't have a problem getting mine to stand. He doesn't like splay out or anything. So that's not a problem with mine. But moving on to my second pick, and this one, you know, a lot of people have some beefs with it for one reason or another. But again, he was another one that I was ecstatic that we were getting, and the mere fact that we got him, I love it. And he captures the look perfectly, in my opinion. And that, well, with one minor exception. And that would be Power of the Prime's Predaking. I absolutely love Power of the Prime's Predaking. I can't for the life of me figure out why they inverted Dive Bomb and Rampage. Because to me, Dive Bomb should be the left shoulder, or the left arm, not the right arm. But, you know, they kind of inverted that. There are a few details that they left out, like the spike knuckles and the big honking sword. I wish that he had those, but I'm happy with it as for the most part. The only one of the bots that I don't care a whole lot for is Rampage. Rampage has some thin plastic here and there, and he is probably one of the clunkier ones. I like how they took the overall clunkiness, you know, like the combined mode for Combined Wars Devastator, or the individual bot modes for Combined Wars Devastator. All of them look great except for Long Haul, who he suffered from having to be the torso. He had all the chunkiness in that set. All the rest of them look good and proportionalized as they should. And then you had Long Haul, who like had these exaggerated feet, exaggerated hips, because they were also Devastator's hips and Devastator's thighs. So with Predaking, they did it a little differently and kind of dispersed some of the bulk amongst some of the other bots, where that way Razor Claw didn't take all of it, and then you have that center piece that's pretty much just a add-on piece. So I'm really pleasantly surprised with Predaking.
That's the first pick I think anyone's had that I I could definitely see being on someone's worst list too. Not on mine.
Yeah.
But
As soon as you were like, well, my second pick's going to be controversial, I was like, oh, he picked Predaking. It was just kind of, I immediately knew.
Well, I do, even though that's why I said it was probably my most controversial piece or controversial pick, because I do see what a lot of people would criticize in the toy. A lot of people don't like the athletic, slender build that the cartoon model had, and this Predaking reflects that model very, very well in the slender legs, and he's a predatory animal in of sorts, and he kind of portrays that in my mind. That whenever I see him, I expect him to be athletic. The G1 toy was more clunky and big and chunky. While I appreciated that, it wasn't very show accurate. And since apparently everything, including Masterpiece, is going towards show accuracy now, I kind of appreciate this version reflecting more the animation model. But he's really good. I didn't care for all those damn stickers on Dive Bomb. Like 80% of the stickers go to Dive Bomb, and those wings. It's like, why couldn't you all just painted those or just chromed them or something, But yeah, he's good. And then my final official pick, probably comes out of nowhere. It would be the reissue Dino cassettes that came out of the SDCC set. What? Yeah, the fact that we finally got what was it? No, Zaru as I can't even pronounce their Japanese names.
No idea.
Zar and I can't remember what the little raptor is, but yeah, I totally dig those guys. The fact that I can get them now for under $1,000, I'm just ecstatic.
I got the G1 knockoffs years back when that came out, so.
But to have the official ones for under $1,000. The only thing that absolutely pisses me off to no end is that the feet on I can't remember what's the combined mode's name right now.
I have to look it up on the wiki.
It slipped my mind now. But the feet are still screwed up on the Entertainment Earth. And I was hoping release, and I was hoping that version would fix the feet on the combined mode, so I could have one to display in combined mode that has got the correct feet, and then the other one I would just display in their individual dinosaur modes. But those little dino cassettes are awesome. I love them.
Did that was that defect there with the originals? Like, I haven't really ever done much research. No,
it's a misassembly on. Matter of fact, I think it's the right foot they assembled with a left foot part, I think, and it's upside down on top of that. Yeah,
and so
he
all the reissues have that.
All of the reissues have that, and it has a very, very difficult time standing up. I literally have mine in the display case, leaning on a toy behind it, he's like kind of being propped up, because if I stand him normally, he'll just go thump, leg out. Yes, Benjamin Yoon. Yes, thank you. I forgot what I could not remember for the life of me what his combined name is, but leg out is his name.
Yeah, I was like, again, I got the knockoffs that came out that they're high quality. You wouldn't know unless you knew, type of thing. Like, I think the screws are different, but I thought it was cool that they even reached back for something like that just to get it out to more people. That really increased availability for people. So it's always awesome to me when
I'm
stuff
hoping
like
that next year's official or exclusives will be the other two Dino cassettes. That would be really nice.
You got to think they're coming, right?
I would hope.
It's a little weird. Like, I think it's great that they brought these out. I do question, like, why the clear versions. Like, no one needed that shit, but okay.
It's to sell more, Paul. It's to sell more. You had to
Dang
buy
it.
both sets
Jason
to
Tate
get the
says,
not clear version.
I mean, I guess I'm just saying they could have just had the other two dinosaurs in here, and everyone would have been like way more happy. But no,
No,
I can't have.
put them out slowly.
I like what Jason Tate says here. My leg out hasn't fallen once, even with Forrest Gump legs.
Magic legs.
Maybe they'll put out a reissue and we go, why leg out? You got new legs.
That's too funny.
All right. As with this whole fandom, apparently third party is really becoming super mainstream. You know, I can remember whenever third party was kind of subversive, and not a lot of people did it, mainly because of cost, I guess. But as cost for third party items is starting to come down and more affordable and more in line with what you would get with some official product, and the quality being there, third party has really risen to be prominent within this fandom. Dare I say, I doubt that we'll ever see it go away, because Hasbro didn't jump on it, Takara didn't jump on it right away and nip it in the bud whenever it's still in its infancy and say, hey, these are our licensed likenesses, you can't use them. But now it's gone so far, I think it'd be a losing battle if they tried to fight it legally. But we're not here to talk about that. The mere fact is third party is here. It's here to stay, in my opinion. And a lot of people follow it. A lot of people have their likes and dislikes within the fandom. So we include it within our hobby. Even though they're not official Transformers products, they are recognizable Transformers characters, and we accept them as such. Whether or not you agree with that is up to you. But you know, here on the podcast, we will at least acknowledge that they are here, and that's why we cover them. So, with that being said, let's talk about our favorite third-party releases of 2018. And Paul, let's go with you next.
This will be quick.
Yeah, it is going to be quick, mostly because I just realized I didn't choose stuff for this year, except for one of them, and it's the only one I really want to talk about anyways, and it's Make Toys Meteor. I think that's, you can't deny that is awesome. It's
Except that was the last year.
Was it?
Was it?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, the Meteor itself was last year. Yeah, I saw it at TFCon.
Well, just skip me. I'm worthless in this topic. I didn't buy any third-party toys this year, so I didn't.
Like, I know I saw they had a limited selection of them at TFCon last year.
Oh, okay.
You know, so I don't know if there was that, and then there was like a big gap before the general release. I'm not sure when.
Well, fine, Skywarp, because those
ones
came out this year. Yes.
We can just say that it counts because it's the same old.
It's totally fine.
Sunstorm, you know, that guy. Yeah, that's just a great toy, and it really fits in with I don't think anyone's begging for a new Seeker release, because we all know what that means. It's like, no, it's raining jets. But it's just a really great update, and it just shows you how far creativity in manufacturing and engineering has come, that they can pull it off like that. I mean, I think it does have like a butt flap, which is kind of a
minor butt flap
faux pas these days, you know. But other than that, it's pretty cool. As long as it doesn't have a faux cockpit, then I'm cool with it.
Oh, and you know that I think at this point the Seeker V3 is inevitable.
Yeah, it is.
Or V2. I don't know what you want to call it, because the first Starscream mold, you know, they tweaked it a bunch until they, you know,
I'd say it'd be a version 3 for sure.
I guess.
But I would assume it's going to look like this. Like how much different can it be? But then, you know, there's the challenge, guys. Like, go get them, Takara. Like, show me what you got, man.
To be honest, I'm pretty sure we said that when MP10 came out as well. How could you actually do a Prime better? And as more and more pictures come out, I'm more and more convinced that 44 might actually be better, which is a disgusting statement, because
it feels good. It feels good to say it, doesn't it?
I think Takara could definitely top Make Toys, though. Both with, I usually find Takara's engineering still to be the most interesting to me, even though there's a lot of third-party engineers that I like these days. But those toys also aren't painted top to bottom, and that's what Takara would do. That alone will set it on another level when they get to it.
Well, that's I think that's as far as I'm going to go with this question because I kind of biffed it. So sorry.
No, you're fine.
That's good.
So, I asked for 3 because generally it allows for more extended discussion. It gives us more to talk about. But if you can only have one item, that's fine. Because whenever we get to our dislikes, honestly, I'll probably have one item each. Because that's just me. I don't hate a whole lot of stuff. That being said, if you've been watching this podcast for any length of time, you probably know what my most hated official toy for 2018 is. Yes. Robert probably has a good idea.
Absolutely no.
Yeah. So, Anna.
I intentionally didn't pick it.
Anna, what are your top 3 favorite picks for 2018?
Okay, so I might be on the edge here because I looked it up and I saw like the first rumors of this actually being in people's hands was in January, but I don't know if it might have come out in December. So, oh, poop, my updater just came up in 1 second. Don't you hate it when that happens when you're doing something important? Okay, so first off, I'm going to talk about MMC Nitro, which may or may not have come out this year, but I think it did come out in January, technically. And just to put that out there, that this was my first time with this mold. I know a lot of people had Calidus and his inevitable 50 repaints, and really liked him. And I really do like this figure. However, the reason I picked it isn't because so much I like this figure. It's because since I got it and I started buying more MMC figures, I bought like too many of them, and I really am impressed with that company. Now, my favorite ones I don't think came out this year, so I didn't pick them. But
now you're a Mastermind Creations fangirl.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Their IDW line is fire.
It is so good. Their stuff is so good. Coulter is just super fun to play with.
He's awesome.
I like I said, I would have picked that, but I don't think it came out this year. So therefore, I went with her because she technically crawled out this year, just barely.
Yeah, I think,
and it's really cool. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I think the Thunderwing repaint of Coulter might have been this year, and then the rollout or the roller repaint comes out next year, and so that mold is getting some more love, and it's a great mold.
Good, it's so good, so good.
They just released colored pictures of the DJD, the big guy, one of the big guys, the one with the hole in the chest or whatever, from whatever that.
What do they call it, Torque or something like that?
I can't remember, but it's awesome. It's huge. Sorry.
It looks all right. Not for me, but I have the rest of the DJD that's come out, but the big guys just aren't that exciting for me. So I'm going to try to go a little bit faster because I know that we're already an hour in, and I have to be places. Maybe. We'll see. But
it is the next holidays.
That is true. That is true. The next thing I'm going to include is this little guy, because I know Lucas couldn't be on today, and if I didn't bring this one in, he would be sad. So this is the New Age Bumblebee / Goldbug / Bug Bite mold. And I went for the Bug Bite because, how many awesome Bug Bites are there?
That's cool. BotCon throwback.
The answer is probably 1. But anyway, I really like this guy because, he's just pretty perfect. I mean, he's very articulated. He is a competitor for the best Bumblebee transformation to me, between him and MPB. They're both really good. He pointlessly comes with a jetpack, which is cute. And yeah, it's just a really fun figure to play with. Like, before this year, and Dara mentioned that we should talk about like things that have changed about us this year and that kind of stuff. Before this year, I never transformed my toys. I pretty much just left them on the shelf, and sometimes I repost them, and it was all fine. But then, with this guy and other Legends figures that I've been picking up, I actually transform him all the time. Now, he doesn't have rolling wheels. That is one thing that would be called a limitation. But at the same time, he's still super cool, and you could just toss him across the table if you want to feel like he rolls. It's fine. And the good thing is that this weekend, New Age has announced quite a few other new figures. So there's going to be follow-ups to this guy. So we get to see their really cool designers come up with other figures that should be this impressive. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they have for us. And yeah, like Lucas said, they have really good articulation. I mean, it's Bumblebee, so he still can't actually reach across his chest, because he's a little rotund guy. But it does actually move really well, and it can do all sorts of silly poses.
They've come along so far with both engineering and articulation and manufacturing. Sorry, engineering and manufacturing, being able to make pieces that small that can move that much without breaking or falling apart, because he looks like he's about the same size as G1 Bumblebee, which can't do much at all. So it's awesome.
Does it have a waist? Does it have a waist swivel?
Super small. It does not have a waist swivel. It has pretty much everything else you'd expect, but not a waist swivel.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it has a little.
It looks cool. I've never seen that mold before.
It's the only figure New Age has out. It's 3 different versions of the same mold.
I think didn't they just maybe even this past weekend release some images of some new figures that they're coming out with?
Yeah, they're making a Megatron that looks absolutely ridiculous. It just, from the pictures, it looks like it really captures that MP36 level of animated.
But it's legend scale.
Yeah, super goofy Megatron, but in this scale. So
yeah, I saw a picture.
Every other Legends Megatron I have.
I saw that picture. It's impressive, and I wondered who the hell came up with this? It looks crazy.
It is really good. Now, I don't think they did put out the Datsuns too, and I don't think those look great. But the Megatron has to be mine.
It will be mine. Oh yes,
it
will be mine.
Okay, so I only have one more, right?
Yeah. Because
I have 5 different figures on my desk right now. They're all my number one. So I'm just gonna hold up a handful. So as you guys hear, I've really got into Magic Square lately. They're really, really cool figures.
I really want that Magic Square Magnus so bad.
Okay, well then I'll hold him up first, or only, because I'm going to not take super long. But yeah, this Magnus is super cool. A lot of people tell me he's the best Magic Square figure. I actually disagree, but they're all fantastic, so I really can't argue too terribly much. They are super articulated. As we talked about when Lucas and I did a evening review on this guy, which you can find
on
maybe
Facebook Live. Yeah. I think Facebook's Live still be up there. And real quick, a good plug. Keep checking our Facebook page, the TFTalk.net official Facebook page. Weekly, Anna and Lucas do a live toy review or a movie review, a couple. What was it last week? Was it last week that y'all did one?
Yeah, we did. We did one last week. It was we did. Oh, they did the movie last week, but we also did this guy last week.
Oh yeah. So they'll review different toys from either third party or official live on our Facebook page, and it's Facebook only. It's not on YouTube. So if you want to check that out and follow and like our TFTalk.net official Facebook page, you will find that. But didn't mean to interrupt. I thought it was a good point to plug it there for you.
I just bought.
Thank you.
I just bought that New Age bug bite on eBay.
How much was it?
22 shipped from China, which means maybe it'll get here in 6 weeks if they didn't rip me off. But I know eBay will give me my money back.
So can you?
But I roll the dice.
Can you Facebook me a link? I may pick that up myself.
Yeah. We'll do.
There's a regular Bumblebee one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
there's
what I
a
was wanting to
Bumblebee, a
do.
Gold Bug, and a Bug
I
Bite,
have-
but the Bug
I have
Bite definitely looks best.
Yeah, I have a ton of Bumblebee figures. I don't have a ton of Bug Bite figures.
I'm totally into legend scale stuff anyway. So
Yeah, it's hard not to be these days. But anyway, to let me keep going on about this, I just want to hold up my recent acquisition of the Magic Square Huffer, who could have been my Ouch My Wallet because I recently acquired him. But I just want to say, like, these guys are super cool, and I had the Cubex Huff, which was good enough for me. It was fine because I don't really care about Huffer. The day I got this, I sold it because it just no longer mattered to me. This is such a better version of the character. I will say that until they got to him, their face sculpts were a little bit off, but his face sculpt is fantastic, and they've been really good since then. So, this guy I have no complaints with, other than, the fact that he's Huffer, so he has half a truck hanging off his back, but, you can't get around that. But they've managed to put waist swivel, they've managed to put an ab crunch, they've managed to put ankle tilt.
that's insane.
Wrist swivel.
I mean,
all on figure.
the ab crunch is like the final cherry on top these days.
That big, right? It's that big. It's fantastic. So yeah, I can't rave enough about these guys. They have successfully stolen a portion of my paycheck for the foreseeable future as they continue releasing figures. So they are fantastic, and definitely my number one third party of the year. Ta-da.
Quick question. Are you considering the Magic Square MP-sized MP44 style Prime that's coming out next year?
No, I am not.
Wow. Even though it's Magic Square.
I'm not that loyal. I really like MP10, and that is my Optimus. And the other thing is, just today or just this weekend, they did officially announce that they are actually doing a Legend Square Optimus by Magic Square, which also looks fantastic, and in my opinion, better than DX9 Dutch. So I'll be getting him instead, and not the MP Scale one. Unless, of course, they start sucking, which would be terrible. That isn't going to happen.
Okay. How about you, Rob? What are your favorite?
Should I count down or should I build up?
Build up.
Build up.
All right. I'm going to start
Alrighty.
off then with number 3. Sign language ASL. That's 3. These, again, I don't think went over as well as they went over with me, with people, but Bad Cubes, Sideswipe, and Red Alert. Yeah, see? That's how people respond, because they don't know what they're talking about.
Did you make a video for them?
No, I didn't.
Oh, I thought I must have just heard your conversations about them then.
Yeah, but it's another case of updoing Takara big time, because Anime Sideswipe I did do a video on and already got rid of it. That came out, like, it just shows again how much further that engineering has come to make things toy accurate. So like they have a slimmer chest in robot mode, and if I had to pick between the two of them, the answer is Red Alert, especially compared to the Takara options, because Takara's masterpiece Red Alert, the official one, is just flat out lazy compared to this guy. They did a bunch of remolding on this guy so that, like, Sideswipe doesn't have tires on his shoulders, but Red Alert does. And the masterpiece one, they're just fake. Here, that's actually his tires. And then, they made the transformation work. Notice Sideswipe's doors are down on his arms, but here they're off his shoulders. And then, of course, their backs are completely different because, again, they made it accurate to the cartoon. The backs of the cars in the cartoon are also completely different. And so, and they have a nice paint on them, top to bottom, on the car bits at least. Like, unfortunately, some stuff like the thighs and the gray here, that's just plastic. But all of the parts that are car parts are nice and painted and have a really nice look to them. And I think Bad Cube in general has been upping their game from their early releases. Like, they did Cubex, and they started off with that Huffer that was okay, but it was plagued with quality issues, especially the paint. Was the paint on yours all gone? You're muted.
It wasn't all gone.
Okay.
It was a little chipped, but let me tell you, the person who sold it to me, he was the second owner, and neither him nor the first owner actually ever transformed it out of fear, and neither did I. That's why I was so excited when I got this one, and I can actually transform it.
Yeah. I transformed mine, but the chipping was pretty bad. You know, so they became bad cube, and the first few figures, the engineering was terrible. But then I think their most recent mini bots have all been a lot of fun, and these are not as bad to transform as people say. Getting the hood to snap in together is a little wonky because there's too much stuff moving together, but it's totally doable. I don't know. I didn't find it that bad at all, so I was really pleased with these, and they look so much better than the Takara versions on my shelf. My number 2, I suspect, is also on Duron's list, and I am going to pick him up because I don't give a fuck. DX9's Gabriel, and he is awesome. I mean, he's just huge. He's massive. You know, we've had the...
Actually, no, that is not on my list.
Okay, is it Fans Toys? But I've seen Fans Toys, and this is the one for me. I'll just say that. Just love the style. It's the coolest Omega Supreme transformation I've ever seen. Like, and I love the G1 toy, and I have the white and blue E-Hobby repaint they did a few years back. You know, but it's all parts forming, and this obviously is some, you know, with the tracks coming off, but the fact that the rest of it, like the legs all transform, it's all together, and it's just a toy this big. He's super solid, and the transformation being that unique just really sold me on the big guy here. I wish it was painted. I had more paint on it because I like everything to be painted top to bottom these days, especially for the Masterpiece shelf. But they didn't on this guy. I can kind of understand why, because he's huge. But the yellow's painted on these parts, I believe. The red's definitely painted. That's a third-party piece I picked up off the boards. That's cool.
They made one for Fans Toys as well.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, he's awesome. He's super sturdy, and unique transformation. I don't know. Not much more I could ask for. I
would have chosen the Fans Toys version this year had it not came out in 2017. So, yeah, the Gabriel came out this year, but Fans Toys came out last year. Because I actually saw a Facebook post a couple weeks ago where it was the 1-year anniversary of me getting that giant toy. I'm like, wow, I've had it a year? I didn't think I'd had it that long.
Yeah. And they did a lot of cool attention to detail here. So, like, the elbow is molded, you know, so it doesn't break the sculpt. And then with the knees, you got, like, cool pipes and stuff in it, you know, so it's just... they really went out super solid. He's my chunky boy, and he's awesome. Set it down. And then, much like how you cheated for your official stuff, Duron, by picking combiners twice, I'm totally cheating for my number 1. My number 1 is just X-Transbots.
Really?
Fucking anything they did this year, man. Like,
they have been killing it. They
are on fire. Every one of these guys has, like, this awesome paint finish all around them. You know, they... especially the Stunticons are very tune accurate. Skids lacks in a few things that, like his legs are supposed to look different, like on the side. Like the paint it's a case of the cartoon completely cheating. Mm-hmm. You know, they'd have to have more flipping parts on it and stuff for, I don't know how many episodes was Skids in, half of one or something. I don't know.
I think 2. Yeah. Literally 2. One of them he became a chair, part of a chair.
Yeah. So he's not like a super cartoon character anyways, but the quality on them is awesome. The engineering has gotten so much better. These guys they're fun to flip with. I have no problems transforming. I know some people have been breaking this guy. That's because they didn't follow the instructions. I didn't follow the instructions, and even I didn't break it. But, you know, you got to push the back up. If you just pull it out, it's going to break it. That's good job. You know, not happy people broke their stuff, but also don't have a whole lot of sympathy when you just do it wrong, you know, and force something.
Be careful, yeah.
Well, I think
even if you're careful, you can still do it. But
I mean, if you just push up the back, it comes right off. Like if you do it like it's designed, you know.
Well, I think what it is a lot of them broke on the very first try because some of the paint, it was like either too thick or still slightly tacky whenever they put it in the package or something. I don't know what it was, but I think once you finally break that first seal from the paint, I never had any issues with mine.
Yeah, what people are breaking is here on the back. he's got a little tiny tabs on in here, and it's clear plastic, so you know how that is. That dips down and they hook into something. So when you transform it, you got to push that up first, and then you can pull it out. People are just trying to pull it out. It's not an obvious engineering choice. I'll give them that. That's not how that stuff usually transforms, and it caught people by surprise, and then they broke the back of those, which is, again, X-Transbots is freaking killing it, because you can just email him, and for $5, he'll email you the parts. He'll ship you the parts for replacement parts. I've had to get a couple things that I have broke of me just being stupid, and every time, emailing back and forth, like within like an hour, I've PayPal'd him $5 and it's in the mail. And just for your favorite, because you mentioned it earlier, Paul, Ab Crunch,
Very
and
nice.
Ab Crunch. All of them have ab crunches.
If my Transformers can't exercise, it's just not really for me anymore.
Yeah, now we need to have a Transformers version of Richard Simmons standing in front of some of these spots now.
Work it. But not. Keith was really dormant the first half of this year because he was building his new factories out or working with new factories. I don't know all of it, but I know once he got him on, he started chucking figures out, and they've just been fire, and I'm really looking forward to what he's got to next year. And I did have one honorable mention. I think that'll probably be in Duran's list. So we can talk about it then, other than just say transformation's kind of meh, but he's very pretty. So
I would have mentioned that one, but I didn't have it, so I didn't feel like it was fair.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't have to have it to mention it.
Well, if you don't own it, you haven't played with it. How do you know for sure?
Well, if you played with it,
shit. I haven't. I've just looked at it. I've just looked at it from afar.
Yeah.
All you can do is just look at it.
I transformed it the other day, and it's. I was able to go back and forth without instructions, so that was good. But it's definitely a little tight in there, unfortunately. Yeah,
definitely.
That's my faves.
Your faves. All right, my favorites, and I'm going to go from bottom to top here as well. Being a Headmaster fan, I had to include a Headmaster in this, and that would be Fans Toys Dracula, their version of Mind Wipe. Absolutely phenomenally pulled off. The colors on him, they got the little metal flake in the plastic just right. I absolutely dig him. I thought he would be very simple for a transformation. And while he's not overly involved, he's a lot more involved than I expected him to be. And even though if you pick up the box, he doesn't feel that heavy. But whenever you're holding the toy, you're like, damn, this is a heavy-ass toy. You could literally club somebody to death with this toy. It's that heavy. And maybe stab because his wings are quite sharp, too. But yeah, Fans Toys Dracula.
I liked that the engineering was simpler than a lot of what Fan Toys has been doing lately. Again, unlike Quietus, where it was just overly complex. I think when XTB can make things that are more fun to transform, you need to watch what you're doing because they used to be miserable. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was put together. It was kind of like, I thought, an honorable mention. I didn't like that the bat feet couldn't stand on it. He's going to fall over forwards or backwards.
Yeah, that is a bit of a problem. I still haven't done it yet, but I'm considering putting some nail polish on those ball joints to kind of shore them up a little bit.
But still, that's a lot of weight for those ball joints to hold. Like, I don't think it's going to break. I just don't see how it can stand.
Yeah.
Mind Wipe is one of those, from our earlier conversation talking about ones you don't mind in an alt mode. Mm-hmm. Mind Wipe is one of those just from, I watched that terrible Headmasters dub, and I just think wooey, 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 woo, and him being in that bat mode still kind of sticks with me. So he's one that doesn't have to be robot in my mind.
And Weird Wolf, from in my opinion, too, because even in the U.S. cartoon, he was in wolf mode most of the time. So my second pick, and Robert alluded to it earlier, would have to be Fans Toys Quietus. He would have been my number one pick, but there's one that absolutely trumps him. But Quietus, as Rick would say, absolutely Love that toy. The colors are beautiful on it. I like the fact that you have the IDW option for him, but I went total G1 with mine. Even gave him the Target Master. I love the fact that he's got the little soul patch by default. The X-Transbots one had it, but you had to put it on separately. Excuse me, it came separately in the package.
Yeah, he has 3 different other faces besides this one.
Yeah.
One more has a soul patch. 2 of them don't. Like some of them he's yelling, and then of course he's got the IDW heads with the horns, both broken or not broken, and the shoulder shins.
Or the scabbards.
Or the hip scabbard, sorry.
The thing about that gets me, the alt mode on that looks like it's impossible. Like, it looks so thin. It looks like really... It's amazing.
It's all in here. All of his stuff, it's all sandwiched in here. Kind of like MPO9. You know how Rodimus, like, all of his crap just collapses? It's kind of what's up in here, except you have to pull some of it through other parts as they pull out, and it's just... That's why it didn't make my top 3s, because, like, it's beautiful.
He is...
Don't get me wrong.
He is rather fiddly. There's a lot of panels, a lot of moving parts on him. And getting them lined up is a pain. But that being said, I still find him enjoyable. I'm one of the few people that still find his transformations somewhat enjoyable. You just got to take your time with it. He's one of those that will take you 15 to 20 minutes per mode, at least.
Yeah, I'd up that a bit.
Yeah. I did him in 15 minutes the other day.
Okay.
But,
maybe once you get used to it, I guess.
Yeah. I've transformed mine probably 5 or 6 times.
Okay.
So, I'm not saying I'm a master at him, but I still enjoy him quite a lot. He's got some good heft to him. He's another one that I think any Fans Toys toy you could literally use as a bludgeoning tool. But he is quite beautiful. My number 1 choice, again, is a cheat. And that would be Zeta Toys Armageddon, their version of Bruticus. The fact that we now have a Bruticus toy that is literally 2 feet tall, and the fact that you can put batteries in him, and he has sound clips from the G1 cartoon. He is my Bruticus. That is the Bruticus that I envisioned as a kid. I wanted a Bruticus toy that big, and now I have one. He is towering over people in my other bots in my collection now. He is gorgeous. I wish his connection to the Swindle component was a little bit better, and I hate the fact that the tracks on the Brawl keep falling off. But I'm glad that those features are there, the tracks, because it's a really cool addition. The fact that in tank mode, the tracks actually, the treads actually move, and the fact that in their vehicle modes, there's like almost little to no bot kibble visible at all in their alt modes. Like Swindle, Brawl, you can flip them upside down, totally smooth. They don't have, there's no bot kibble underneath. It's great. I love them. My runner-ups would be definitely the X-Transbots Stunticons. I love those guys, but I haven't completed the set yet, and I don't want to give them too much applause just yet, because I got bitten by the Fans Project Minosaur. I love the Limbots a lot. And then whenever Diesel came out, I hated the whole set because of that one piece.
That toy's terrible.
Yeah, and I didn't want to give these guys that credit just yet. But individually, the Breakdown and the Wild Rider are, like Robert said, absolutely amazing. I do like the skids. I'm not crazy about how the arms kind of... they confuse me a bit whenever I'm transforming him back and forth. But all in all, I'm happy with them.
Would say the arms on skids, like getting them back into car mode, usually takes me as like, wait a minute, oh, this is how it does. But it's not as bad as like Alternator's Wheeljack / Grimlock, if you remember that toy.
No.
Those arms are impossible. That's nowhere near that bad.
You just had to transform it a few times.
I have. I could never get the hang of it.
I got it at some point. I don't remember what it took, but because I hated that at first too. But I kind of got there's a trick to it somehow.
Yeah, but I mean, if I had to have runner-up, I totally agree with Rob's assessment that the the X-Transbot Stunticons, they are the shit. I absolutely love them. X-Transbots has agreed again, has been killing it across the board. I think they really started turning it around with their Cyclonus and their Scourge. They had some issues, but all in all, I thought they were solid releases as well.
I really felt they turned it around with Clatel, their Cosmos.
I didn't own that. I went with the Toy World one, but I do like the looks of Klaatu. He's a little bit bigger than I wanted my Cosmos to be. I like the fact that he has the beaming up effect. That would be cool. Now, real quick, I want to go around the horn here, and let's pick one toy from 2018, official or unofficial, that you would love to throw across the room, and you wish you hadn't bought, or you just didn't like it all. And so I'm going to go with Anna first. Again, ladies first. Anna, which toy would you like to throw at one of your students in the classroom?
But I'm casually showing off this little guy right now. How could you interrupt? So I decided to go super controversial because I was gonna go with how I don't like some of the bots, but whatever to that idea. So I have decided instead to go for a figure that I don't have open because I've decided that I'm going to get rid of it, but I'm going to use its last year version. And this is going to be super controversial because a lot of people love these, but it's Moonracer and Fire and Nova Star and every planned iteration of this mold. And right, exactly. So here's the story with this one. I got it, and I ended up kind of talking myself into liking it because I could take its butt thing and make a chair, and I thought that was cute. And I amused myself with that enough that I convinced myself the car wasn't awful. All a lie. The car is awful. And I thought it was okay, for one figure. And the fact that, if you ever listen to me talk, I'm really happy when we actually get female characters made into figures. So it was awesome. And then I realized it was a bad figure. And then it got repainted. And then it got remolded. And then it got repainted again. And the reason that's a bummer to me is that when people give bad reviews to female figures, or when they don't buy them and they shelf warm, that gives Hasbro / Takara / whoever the message that they shouldn't make female characters, when really the actual message is they just shouldn't make crappy ones. I really wanted to go with Alita instead, but I decided to go with this one because it was more controversial, and I was almost certain someone else would pick.
Alita would have been my runner-up.
I was pretty certain someone would pick Alita or Starscream, so I figured we'd be good to go. So, yeah, this is definitely... I know this one didn't come out this year, but the Nova Star did, and we're going to be getting more versions of this mold for at least the next year. And I think that's actually bad for the fandom, because we're going to be constantly getting a bad version of every female character until we're out of them. Then again, I could be wrong. There are some decent ones coming out. I think the female character from the movie might get a decent toy or two. So that's good. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
That was on my list when it was a top 3. I've kind of mentioned before in some private groups that, beggars can't be choosers. So, I'm happy to get homages to that G1 episode where there were all the Fembots. So, I'm happy those characters are hitting a shelf for the first time ever. but they couldn't have made a better mold than this. It's fucking terrible. It looks it's so bleh in rectangle mode, and whatever the hell all this junk is on the back, and I don't know. And then like the Little One figure, I got it because I want the crew of fembots, but they're not good.
What's so bad about the Alita 1?
Floppy.
Cool, I guess. I don't know.
It's floppy as hell.
Yeah, it's a floppy mess. It's terrible stickers. These stickers are just such hot garbage. The head sculpt's nice.
Yeah,
but that's the only nice thing I can say about it is the head sculpt is cool.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the sculpt on it was quite good actually. But I've only seen it in the box, so I don't.
If you look at it in the package, it's not bad. You take it out of the package, you're like, why did I buy this damn thing?
Yeah.
The jet mode is that's one thing I'm not liking a lot about Chug figures lately, is just that jet mode is just nothing. And the combiner mode, the chest mode, is just ugh. Like, there are so many better chest figures, and even bad ones are better than that one.
It kind of reminds me of Victorion. I so wanted to buy that because I like the character and I like what they did, but it just looked so terrible. I just couldn't buy it. I just couldn't do it.
I don't hate Victorian as much. I actually like that a lot more than these figures.
What I really liked was, what's the name of the thing that came out by Takara?
Megatronia.
Yeah, that thing is awesome. That is a great toy.
That's my jam, but I couldn't pay that much for Combiner Wars figures. So
I love that whole set is so wacky and crazy, and I love the female Megatron. And we've never gotten a female Optimus yet, which kind of drives me nuts at this point. And that all the other, in purely Japanese fashion, or that guy that draws them over there, who makes them a little too sexualized, all the females are like the girlfriends of, like, say, Soundwave or Shockwave or Swindle and Starscream. Like, it's just so funny. Like, as a concept, it's ridiculous.
So, Paul, what toy would you like to kick to the can?
I didn't have any that I really hated, I guess, but I'm trying to look at my three, and I'm trying to pick which one. But the obvious one is the Cyberverse Deluxe. The Cyberverse Warrior Starscream was really rough. It was bad. I mean, most of those, universally, a lot of people hate those toys. But there are some good examples in there. The Megatron, the Warrior Megatron is really good. The Ultra Class Shockwave is really good. But the Starscream is the worst one. It just doesn't do anything. It hardly transforms. It's just the plastic's really thin. Like, I can't find. I had to get it because it's Starscream, but I think the hate is justified on that thing.
Yeah, I picked up a couple Cyberverse figures. I picked up a couple Cyberverse figures at Walgreens a few weeks ago. Almost bought them, and then set them back down on the shelf because I stood there and I looked at them on the package, and I'm like, I don't have a whole lot of shelf space. This thing doesn't do much. It's essentially going to be relegated to a desk bot. I don't want to clutter my computer desk up with a bunch of bots, so I put them back down. And I'm not sad that I did. I'm not sad at all. So, and you're muted, Paul. Oh.
Sorry. I mean, they're definitely for kids, but they do some weird things. Like, I do like this one. The Warrior Megatron's cool. It has, not many Transformers use a string.
Mm-hmm.
Probably with good reason, but it just, it has some playability. And it has decent joints and stuff. And I love how big his cannon is. It's like kind of ridiculous almost. And he looks like a good-ass Megatron, so I don't know. But the Starscream, I don't even have it out because it's so bad. I've put it away somewhere.
You want to forget about it?
Yeah, it's rough. Pretty pitiful.
All right, Rob.
Since we're going down to one, I mean, I had it was late 2017, but Grimlock, he sucked, but I'm not going to pick that one. Punch Counterpunch was kind of disappointing to me, but
I almost added him to my top three faves. Punch Counterpunch, I loved him.
It's just meh. Now I don't have anything I want to launch across the room because I would sell it. You know, and then a lot of stuff like Power of the Prime's Predaking looked terrible to me. I watched some reviews of it to immediately know that it was not for me, and so I just stayed the hell away from it. You know, so I'm not like, here's this $150 toy that I bought and kept knowing I was going to hate it. That'd be stupid. So I'd probably say the most disappointing release for me that I actually own and keep is probably this one, Paul. Sorry.
Really?
Yeah, and it's because
we have such differing views on things.
Yeah, well, tell me why it sucks.
No, the thing is, it doesn't suck, but it's the most disappointing to me because it's so close. And now you're bringing out a Seeker mold. You know you're going to paint the shit out of it. You know people are going to buy the shit out of it. So you got the money in the budget to really put it over the top. And when Starscream came out, I thought maybe they were testing the waters. Maybe they weren't sure they were going to be able to run the gamut with the Seeker molds the way they want to. But then they obviously did because they're planning the cone heads. The first 3 Seekers are out. And for one, he's not painted top to bottom, but a lot of his chest is painted. The gray's painted. The thighs are painted. But it's the little things that set me off. So like his tail wings. Why is that piece not red? Just make it red. Paint it red. You can spin the paint. You can spin the paint to make it red, and they didn't bother.
Yeah, top to bottom, all the way.
All the way. And the nose cone. Why the fuck is there a gray spot in it? Fucking make it blue. It's not even large. Put that on the other damn sprue, or put it on both sprues. I don't care. To put that in blue plastic if you're not going to paint it blue. I mean, come on, guys, get your head out of your ass.
What the underside of the wings made me angry.
Dude, people that bothers, and shut the hell up. Come on, are you putting your toys like that on the shelf to see that there's gaps in the back? No, it's going to be that way.
From an MP level toy, though, I don't want that. I would expect that out of a Hasbro Deluxe or Voyager or a Leader class, but not an MP level third party toy. And I find it unacceptable.
To that point, it's again, they're repainting the crap out of this. They're going to get their mileage out of it. So there's no reason for it. It just doesn't bother me. I agree that it's stupid, though. Just like these other little colors that are off. I'm fired up. So it's so close. A few little things that would have totally fixed it that I can't imagine affecting their bottom line that importantly, especially for something that you're going to repaint so much and remold so much. Why wouldn't you do it? So, but obviously I still like it enough to keep it on my shelf. He's awesome looking. He looks like he walked off the screen, especially in robot mode. But in jet mode, those little color bits trigger me. So what the hell make toys? Exactly.
You know what doesn't have gaps? I just want to say, this doesn't have gaps. There are no gaps.
You're making
just bringing it up again.
You're making me want to go to eBay.
I think I've already sold 2 today, so that would be 3 drawn. So that's my goal. I don't get a commission from them, sadly, but
they need to put you on the payroll.
It's worth it. I like to spread the joy.
Oh, and probably the only other last thing about this that's disappointing, but it was the same on Starscream, is just that the canopy likes to come off when you're transforming it. I think most people know that about it. Because you pick it up and you spin it around, and like there's a little C-clip where it hooks on, where it does that spin, likes to pop off. And they didn't tighten that up for the later releases, which was a shame. But
so you definitely are inviting a third part or a version 3 Seeker because this didn't do it for you.
I mean, I'm totally content with this on my shelf. Like if Takara never touched it again, I would be fine. I don't feel I needed. Like I felt I needed another Prime. I felt I needed another Starscream. I don't feel I need another Starscream or Seeker mold at this point. It's so close that it's fine. It's just they didn't go all the way.
I don't look forward to another grand on 6 more Seekers.
Yeah, I haven't decided. You can see my cone heads down here. Those cost so much when they first came out, and the price has plummeted on them. And then now there's a better looking version coming out. I don't know if I'm going to bother to upgrade those 3. Yeah. I might just leave them as is.
Another option is just choosing one of them that you like, but then never having to get the rest of them.
But then the cone heads wouldn't be uniform. I don't know if I could deal with it. Like it's bad enough having my regular Seekers.
I don't think Ultra Magnus could deal with it.
Definitely couldn't.
Yeah.
So
Like the only masterpiece that left that Takara has done that I feel they really need to do again for my collection would probably be Grimlock. I have the Fans Toys Grimlock, and I have for MPO8 I have the King Grimlock version, the comic book version, because it's still a cool mold. But none of those are like cartoon accurate. You know, they're very in cartoon they were very plain robots, and they were yellow in spots instead of gold or whatever. So I think there's a market for that still, and I still would keep my Fans Toys Dinobots, and you know they could live in harmony together. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So Rob, can you guess what my most hated toy of 2018 is?
I'm sensing a color like the sun, yellow, something yellow. Oh, is it yellow or is it gold? It's actually gold.
This is the only version of this toy I still have, and that's because it came with Dino cassettes. I hate this mold. Hate it. Hate it. I hate it.
You gonna smash it with a hammer like that one reviewer did?
No. Was it Bolt Matrix that did that? I think
So. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
That was hilarious. That was hilarious. But I hate this mold. It doesn't hold together very well. It's floppy. Although this gold one is not as bad as the yellow one that I had. But I sold the yellow one I had for like $5. It was like, I'm like, here, please take this off my hands. The only reason I still have this is I have the Dino cassettes that came with it, and I don't want to break up the set. So I technically gave it to my girlfriend to have on her display shelf. So it's not in my display.
What'd she do to you?
What did she do to me? She likes it.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there transforming this thing, and I'm like, I hate this thing. I hate it. And she's like, why do you have it? And I'm like, but it came with these cool Dino cassettes.
I'm sitting here wondering if I can buy it from you.
No, she would be mad.
Clearly not.
She would be mad because I display it on her shelf, and she would be mad if I sold it. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
That's where it stays. Now on the other hand, I kind of dig this version of Bumblebee. He's really, really cool. This is a Studio Series version, but it's the one that came with the Entertainment Earth release, the gold version. I dig it. It's not a bad mold.
Isn't that fun in this hobby, though, that we have such good figures now compared to what we used to have, that Bumblebee you just held up is actually pretty complicated, turns into a car that looks like a car for the most part. It has a, not absolute hot garbage robot mode. And, 10, 15 years ago, we couldn't have had that. But now we have such upward comparisons, so much better figures, that now we're spoiled enough.
I think it's not necessarily spoiled. I think it's the fact that we know that they could have done better. I mean, they have other toys that they have done so much better, but it's like they tried too hard with it. I mean, it's like Fans Project with Diesel that we mentioned earlier. They've done better. They've got some really solid toys out, and for the most part, I don't hate Fans Project. It's just that release really soured me. I hate that toy with a passion. There was so much over engineering in it. It's not even funny. But I'm not saying that this Bumblebee's over engineered. It's just that it's just a bad toy.
Well, it almost seems like they didn't manufacture that one right.
It's
like there should have been a pin.
Possible.
That's like what a lot of people were surmising when it first came out on the first run of those, that there should have been like a pin instead of just a friction joint on the hood or the windshield area or something, because it didn't really hold together. So and if that's the case, yeah, it should be number 1 worst toy of the year, because if I'm huffing a lot whenever I'm trying to transform something,
if I'm sitting there and something keeps falling off, yeah, if I do that too much whenever I'm transforming,
I was born in the fire.
Yeah. You'd be going in the fire if it keeps doing this too much.
Well, at least that line has like a gamut, that's wide. You have like some really bad toys, but you have some really awesome ones too. And as we've been speaking about, it's great that we have this many options. And just how many lines of Transformers are going at once right now? It's kind of insane. There's like probably 10 if you count Bot Spots as a particular new line.
That one's going to be short-lived though. That's another Hasbro Me Too line, like that they like to do, like Construct Bots and Creo. I mean, and that's not new. That's not a new thing Hasbro's done. If anybody remembers this thing called the 80s, Micromasters were, us too with Micro Machines, and Action Masters were, us too with G.I. Joes. They've been doing that for ever. It's just now they have enough breadth that they don't have to do it in the main line.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Well, I think we've actually covered quite a bit here, and we've went a little bit longer than I anticipated. I mean, we're approaching the 2-hour mark, and usually I try to keep these to an hour and a half. So
year in review, it can be a little longer.
Yeah, generally the year in review is a little bit longer. Go ahead, Anna.
I want to say that you said that we were going to try to keep it positive, and I think we did some very positive toy bashing.
I think we did.
I think we did it in a very positive and constructive way.
I flipped my toy off. I flipped my toy off rather than just cursing it.
I threw a bot. I mean, I think that this has been a very positive environment for growth as people.
The power of positivity. It's a new day. Yes, it is. So, another reminder, next week, the December 22nd, will be our holiday episode of TFYLP. We are really, really looking forward to this. It's going to be a big episode, shaping up to be. Gift exchange the first hour, some holiday memories, and then we're going to go into some special guests, barring any cancellations. But so far we have 2 that has said, sure, I'll be on. And really looking forward to those. I'm looking to get more. Still trying to hear back from at least 1 more. So really, really excited. And mark that on your calendars. I've created an event on the tftalk.net Facebook page. Like and follow that page because it's going to have a lot of news, and the podcast is broadcast live via Facebook Live as well. So you can be notified if you don't follow it on YouTube already, and might as well subscribe while you're at it. But we will be at a special time next week at 2 p.m. Eastern for our start time, and it will typically be a long episode. Usually our holiday episode is very long because we have nearly every cast member that's involved that can be, and if we can't have everybody on at one time, we rotate. And whenever we have the special guests on, usually have 1 or 2 cast members log off so that we can have the guests on, because I don't want to have too much overlap on there. But it's a huge show. It's a great undertaking, and I hope you guys. I'm really working hard on this, so I hope you guys really enjoy that episode. Now that the new machine is up and running and everything looks like it's going great, I think the quality will be good and there for you. One more further update. I am aware that the audio version of the podcast is people are having trouble downloading it from iTunes and Google Play, and even directly from the website. You can't download it, and I don't know why. I'm really perplexed at it. I'm going to support forums and trying to find out why. And I think a large portion of it is that the recent update with WordPress has some kind of confliction with the podcast extent or plugin that I'm using, and I'm trying to find some kind of resolution. But as such, you can still stream the audio version of the podcast from the website. So the link, the RSS feed, it's all there. It's all working. That's how I know that it shouldn't be something on my side. It's something software, and I don't know how to fix it just yet.
I haven't had any trouble downloading from iTunes because that's what I always do. It's not like universal.
Well, I had some people. One person mentioned on our YouTube channel that they tried to download it and it downloads 0 bytes. I tried myself whenever I got my new machine set up, clean machine, nothing inhibiting anything, and I tried downloading it via iTunes. I tried downloading it via the website, and it downloads 0 bytes. So I don't understand why, but yet I can click on it and it streams fine. So if you want to listen to the audio version, you can still stream it. You just can't download it right now. I am working on this. It will probably take a while because one of the software developers for the plugin that I use, he's even perplexed. He had never heard of the issue. So they're looking into it. I'm looking into it. I'm working on it. I do apologize for that. But as such, we are still live. You can still go back and watch the episode, and you can still stream the audio on there. Again, check out our sponsors. Follow us up there and help us out on Patreon. It helps us keep going each and every month. And yeah, you like a shockwave, don't you? And bug bite. How many bug bites have sold in this episode?
At least one, because I bought it.
Well, probably another one whenever we get done here. But
it's a car with a jetpack. How can you dislike a car with a jetpack?
Is it built on, or is it like an add-on piece?
No, I just put it. It comes off. It goes over the spare tire.
Okay, I didn't know if it was like an add-on piece. I'm like, that's...
Nah. It can be there in car mode and look really stupid. It's great.
Kind of like a giant pistol sticking in the roof of the car. Hey.
Hey, this is more useful. You could totally flip your car with a jetpack.
Turbo boost kit. Boom. All right, guys. We will see you next week on our and also next week our holiday episode. Programming note will be our final episode or final episode. I'll get it out here in a moment. Our final live episode of 2018. Once that episode concludes, we will not return with a live episode until after the new year started. So that is to allow for friends and family of TFYLP to enjoy travel time and time with their families and not have to worry about coming to the podcast and preparing for that, and as well as myself, because I work on this like all week if I can, and it's very time consuming. Yeah. So take some time away from it and a little vacation myself. So just make a mental note. Next week, December 22nd, 2 p.m., live episode, TFYLP, holiday episode, big episode. Spread it around and like, subscribe, and share. We'll see you next time, everybody. Good night.
Bye. Bye.